Hey there, and welcome to opening up the JSA Army pack, checking out the miniatures and looking at how well they're cast. So, first up, the Keisotsu Butai. Just going to go through all three of these guys together, and don't worry, there'll be no painting video on these. If you want to know how I'm painting my Keisotsu Butai, check out my Keisotsu Butai video. Otherwise, this is just a quick review, so you can decide whether this is a worthwhile buy for you, and you can just see how well they're cast and what have you. First, Keisotsu Butai then. You can see there's a bit of, it's not really flash, injection mould stuff coming out of the elbow there, also out here. There is an ever so slight casting line, but it's virtually impossible to see. Just running along the edges here. It's very, very fine. Hang on, I'm just looking for it. Yeah, it's very fine. You probably can't even see it, but it's just on this ankle there and it runs up the side. It's very, very fine though, virtually unnoticeable. Other than that, incredibly high standard of casting as ever, you expect. There is some sort of yellowy stains. Whenever you see yellowy stains on the miniature, know you really must wash this, because it means that it still has a lot of release agent on it, and that will stop paint from sticking to it, so you want to get rid of that. The gun, again, you probably can't really see. I'm trying to get it so you can. But there is a fine, very fine cast line running along the length of the narrow width of the gun there, along the top edge and bottom edge. Other than that, it's just injection point into the base of the arm here. That needs to be cut away so that it attaches cleanly to here. Clean here so that you can attach straight away, but then there's just these handful of release points which allow the metal to come through. So, as ever, pretty clean. Not as immaculate as I have seen. Like I said, there is a very, very fine casting line running along this, which is unexpected, but I did get the pre-order, so it could be that they've rushed the initial casting process. Next up then, Lady Keisotsu. And she's very clean again. You just got this one release point that I can see, and there's a bit of jaggediness on the edges of the hair here. But other than that, most of the release points seem to have been run through the base, as well as the injection points. There is an ever so slight cast line. You can just see running up the back of her leg and over her bum there. But again, it's incredibly faint. We'll need to wash these. The one thing I find problematic with her, the weapon again is very clean, and there's not really a cast line on this one, which is nice. Just the release points again with flash. The injection point, however, I'm not keen on its location. I'm assuming that's for technical reasons, but I'm trying to get it so you can see, maybe from this side. See, it comes into the side of the arm here, which means it's down to you and your knife/clipper work in removing this to maintain the shape of the arm and keep it clean. I'm not keen on that. Would have almost preferred it to come out of the end of the arm, maybe, if they could have made it obvious where a cut-off point was. But then, I don't know, like I say, they may have done that for a very particular reason, I know not. Also be careful not to cut this off, because this actually attaches onto this arm here. Although, again, this arm, it's a little bit gimpy, it's sort of rounded at the end. There's no rounded hole where they join up, so that's going to be a bit of fun clean-up work for you to work out for yourself, or for me to work out for myself. I will tell you how easy that is to resolve once I have resolved it. So this is going to go on like something like this. This fixes to here, so this should be an easy fix. It should clearly tell you how everything goes, and that arm should make everything fit. So on to the next one. So third one, Keisotsu Butai number 3. This is probably the messiest out of the lot, actually. It has quite a substantial cast line on his shin there, as you can see quite clearly. None of the rest have been that visible. It's only on his right hand side, your left, as you're facing him, and it only really disappears over the sort of the waistline. That's slightly unfortunate. It seems to run in a way up the other side where you can't actually really, you can find it, but it's pretty much invisible. The arm here, again, you've got an injection point which runs into the arm, which is where I prefer them to be. the normal kind of trace elements coming off. And then a very messy shoulder arm piece here where you have this injection point coming into the side of the arm and a couple of bits for allowing the metal to run out of the cast. So it's going to be a pain to clean up. I mean, they're never too bad, right? Because it's white metal, they use a very good white metal, it cleans up pretty easily. You can use the craft knife to scrape to clean up the lines. It's just, I guess, a little bit frustrating. So I'm going to get these washed up, I'll cut them off their bases, I'll see how well they balance, and I will show you them ready for painting. Here we have them all assembled then. And I've found that for the most part, actually, Corvus Belli's policy of fixed postures works incredibly well for these miniatures. They're very easy to assemble, apart from the guy on the left there, who I had to wiggle his arms about a little bit and straighten his I think his gun was bent. I had to straighten his gun out. That could have been when I was trimming it and cleaning it up, though, that caused the slight bend in it. Having straightened it up, I found that the left arm, which is the hand, which you see here, where that joins up, it wasn't quite aligned, but that a slight, gentle bit of pressure realigned that easily enough. And when I was taking them to pieces, I was like, "Oh, do these actually fit flush and everything?" But actually, they do. They fit really well. The design for the single slot fitting makes them go together very easily. The only thing I would say is I think there's a bit of scale creep going on. I'm just going to have to get something to compare, so hang on a second. So it's not ridiculously easy to see, but scale creep is occurring. So the guy who's already painted in the middle on a base, he is from the Japanese Secessionist Army box set for the Yuching, which in all fairness is a fairly old box set. It's been around for a while now. But they are true 25mm. Whereas these guys, I mean, as you can see, the only one with straight legs, who maybe doesn't really count, is the woman. But even so, she's distinctly taller than him. And if I, excuse my hands coming into shot, but if I tilt these, they face up towards you, you can see that the guy on the right is just crouched, but he's still, his eye line is pretty much at the top of the head of the guy next to him who's in a similar crouch. So I'm not too fussed because, you know, people are different heights, so you mix them up, you mix the unit together, you have a tall woman, you have some short guys, that's fine. But I do worry about scale creep because next thing you know they're 36mm heroics rather than 25mm. I quite like that they're 25mm. I grew up with 25mm. I actually quite like 25s. I would even go so far as to say these are too detailed for 25s. I'd be quite happy for them to be a little bit less detailed. What the hey, that's just me. I hope this has been some interest to you, and you're assembling and preparing everything that you want just the way you like it. Thank you for watching, have a good one and take care. Bye bye.